by the name of Hines, your friendly neighborhood ketchup man. Listen, I have a lot of words to say in regards to that particular closing arguments because, of course, as you know, the trial has now reached the closing arguments. The Brendan Banfield trial has reached its moment in which the jury are going to deliver their verdict, which I think might take approximately maybe 3 hours maximum. But and I have selected the key moments from the closing arguments, and we're gonna go through key moments from both sides, both the Commonwealth and the defense, and we're just gonna go through those moments that they did bring up that I thought had that is going to have a lot of impact, and I'm gonna give my reasons why, and also things that both sides should have probably brought up to bolster their argument. I shall also be giving my hypothesis on what the jury verdict might be. So who am I? I go by name of Hines, as I said earlier, and on this channel we do full trial recaps, live recaps like this one here on cases and on selected cases. And I also, me as a person, I like to treat trials as if they're studies, because these are literal people, not the defendant or the victim, but mainly the people orchestrating the show, which is the lawyer and I like to look at how they are doing this, how the witnesses are reacting to just what they're being asked, etc., and how it might impact the jury, as the case develops. So as I like to start all of my recaps, all of my trial recaps, I like to go into a clip that I believe characterizes each day. And on this occasion, which is the prestige, which is where everything is coming to an end, this is going to be the clip that probably sums up best this trial. All right, let's get into it.
Are you programmed
That clip right there is from the Gone Girl, where I must make a disclaimer. Like, I know I'm using a Gone Girl clip. I must say, for understanding of that clip, I will go back into it later on. But imagine Amy Dunn as Brendan Banfield, and imagine Nick Dunn as Julianna Magalhaes as we're going through all of this. It's gonna make sense later on. If you watch Gone Girl, you may know what I'm alluding to, but essentially she was very manipulative. So keep that in mind. But anyway, let's just go straight into the closing arguments, because what the Commonwealth had focused on was mainly Brendan's testimony in regards to the whole BDSM, all of that. So that was his focus. That was their focus on the test on attack from the get-go, really and truly from the get-go. And that was what was going on day 9. And I thought that this was a good way to start, in my opinion, because especially with her illness, having a blood clot issue and all that, it would be very unlikely. But let's go back to exactly the moments on the redirect examination, where he goes into detail in regards to the whole BDSM kink, how we even found that Christine had this kink, etc. And we are gonna get into why this actually matters.
Unwilling.
In tandem with what the state had to testify to.
Objection leading.
What if any of those things? Why? Were you aware of the things that were related to this New York incident?
Yes, she had, Christine was interested in, I guess, sexual violence. She was a sexual assault nurse examiner. She did many examinations of both men and women that were in people that were injured, people that had a lot of people that were choked, people that were raped, some pretty graphic things. She used to bring some of her documents home, so I was aware that she seemed to look at them relatively often.
Okay, and so, and I'm sorry, can you tell me what year was this?
She was a sexual assault nurse examiner. This is an estimate, I guess, from like 2012 to 2017, 2018.
And the incident that you're talking about with regard to her experience, when was that?
I would estimate to 2014.
And is it your testimony that that's when treatment took place?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
When did treatment take place in relation to that date?
I believe that we went to counseling in 2013 and again in 2014.
And
So what he has testified to is that they have been having an affair. They talked about it in New York, and that's where he learned that she was into BDSM. This is the counseling testimony in regards to the affairs.
as far as you can tell, were there ever any other instances where she was involved in something like that?
She had indicated that there was a...
Objection hearsay.
You can't tell what she said.
Okay. I'm aware that there was another brief relationship where she was stalked for a few weeks.
And were there, how were you alerted to that?
She was frightened of that person.
Objection non-responsive.
You overruled this one. Next question.
Were there any injuries related to her relating to that situation?
No, I'm not aware that she was injured in that situation.
Okay, and the previous one that you talked about, were there injuries?
There was significant bruising to her legs, to her buttocks, to her chest.
Did you notice any physical changes in the way she carried herself as a result of that?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
What, if any, other physical clues were there that this was going on?
She had difficulty walking. She was walking very stiffly.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Now,
That was the clue that she was into all of that life. That was the clue that she was into BDSM and all of that. And the part that I liked about that, the Commonwealth bringing this up in their closing arguments, because that they did say there was zero evidence to even suggest that she was in that life, because of the fact that, because of the virtue of because of the lack of web searches, etc. There were like no porn searches was found, and it was quite clever too for them to even bring up moments from the defense presentation of evidence, how in those times, like you still can't find any evidence of her visiting any of this. If they, and plus, they didn't even have to bring it, like, you didn't even have to allude to that. You could have just said, look, listen, if Christine was visiting those sites, they would have shown it through the expert and say, look, yeah, is that a porn site? That is a BDSM play? Great facts to bring up. However, I felt like this part, like they should have highlighted, they being the prosecution, should have highlighted this particular bit. And the bit I'm referring to is I would have loved to see this highlight, but is the lack of semen on Christine's genitalia. And I'm going to explain why after it plays.
Correct?
Yes.
And you know that he laid out his expected arrival time, correct?
I don't remember.
Okay. Did you catch that he stopped at Walmart on his way to your house and bought personal lubricant because your wife?
Object. She's
What's your legal objection?
talking about the case, and she's having him corroborate what their case is.
I don't know what that legal objection is. What's the legal?
It's not relevant.
Overruled.
I'm aware he went to Walmart.
I'm sorry, you're aware he went to Walmart, right?
Yes.
And then he bought personal lubricant for your wife, correct?
I guess.
Who
I don't
he may or
know.
may not have been intending to murder, correct?
I don't know why he brought personal lubricant.
Okay. He left his car parked in your driveway in broad daylight, which you saw, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and he left his 2 cell phones in his car per the instructions that your wife gave him on Telegram, correct?
I guess. I saw the pictures on the floor. I didn't know where they were.
Okay. You said that you heard what you thought initially were sex noises, right?
Yes.
Okay, but we know from the physical evidence recovery kits that were taken from both Mr. Ryan and your wife that there was no semen, no DNA from Mr. Ryan found in or around your wife's genitalia, correct?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
They've got it into the record, so the jury can deliberate on this if they choose to. Why they didn't highlight it for them to reconsider is beyond me. And I know, I understand that closing arguments are not, important, but are not evidence in of itself. But if they weren't important, I don't think the court would have used it as a function, because I have seen some courts use only closing and not opening. But I've never seen, probably does exist, but I've never seen a court that never used opening and like they just got rid of it completely, right? I've never seen that. So if that's the case, then it's of best interest to bring up the evidence for that they consider, not just your theory, because the way that they made their arguments, right? The way that the state, the Commonwealth formulated their arguments in the first part, I thought, okay, cool, because there are no rules in the arguments. It's not like they're limited to just, they can make the same argument again and again. So I thought more was gonna come, because they made their arguments succinct from the closing, from their first closing, the first part. Brought up evidence of the affair with semen on this stains on bed sheets, and Julianna moving into the room, which is fine. I was expecting a lot more, though. I was expecting just so much, and I'm going to get to it at the end. I'm getting ahead of myself because this is just the first part. I'm going to go now into the defense, because the Commonwealth's theory that they ended on was, if Brendan had brought around Joe and killed Joe, it links to Christine, because it's one of the same. It's basically Brendan was the one to have caused the danger. So even if he kills Joe, the fact that he is the one that brought over and Christine also died means he's culpable. And I think that was a good argument to make. Whether the jury understands the argument is a different thing. But when the defense went up, I was very surprised to see how they started everything. It was this personal story about the Constitution, etc. And they go and they were like that the Commonwealth were using my case, and like they went on to the evidentiary stuff in regards to lack of testing on the gun, which was fine. That they have the evidence. Brendan didn't have to testify, but he told his story. Interesting word on story. I personally would have used, he told his truth. I would have said that. Not story, because it just, I don't know, this is the connotations. And then they went on to say this is about truth, right? The key part that I want to highlight that came from their particular focus was, of course, it was going to be, as I've said in the previous stream, they were always going to be, I was way off, by the way. That stream is not going to end well. Like, I was way off on the defense closing. I was like, I thought they may have tried to create a theory to kind of show, how Brendan may have gone with Julianna, but no, they didn't even focus on that at all. But of course, Julianna is the linchpin. They were like, okay, she is the one to have been doing all of this. She is the one that has everything to benefit from this. And of course, they linked it back to the FetLife, the Gmail account, and not only this, they also, and this is the part that I wanted to get to, like, because this is why I've always said that Julianna is a unreliable witness, because of the one thing that she said, which was, I'm just gonna keep answering, I don't know, if you're gonna ask me all these questions. It's not great, is it? It's like it just means that you've had this all pre-planned, and when the whole case is relied on her account, because end of the day we still don't have anything that actually ties, and that's the key detail. They don't have anything that does tie Brendan to the operation outside of what Julianna testified to regarding Telegram. And I felt that what the defense brought up in regards to why would you want to make Telegram when you have FetLife right there? You've already saw it out there. You've already made it known what the requirements were. Why Telegram? And I thought that was a very good point, very persuasive point. But when they said her story has been bought and paid for, first with her freedom and a little something on the side, it made sense why they were bringing in the money exchange. I was like, this is irrelevant, and I always had a feeling at the time it's irrelevant, and now it makes sense, because of course they wanted to use it in the closing argument, but the way that they executed it was masterful. The part that I'm going to play now from Julianna Magalhaes' Day 2 testimony is where she was, is that whole cross-examination in regards to her mom being involved, she testifying that her mom was the one to have basically told her, she acknowledged, I should say, that the mom told her to blame, just say that Brendan did it all. And this is so crucial because of the whole Gmail creation of the FetLife account.
You're worried about any monies that might be going in so you can get extra food, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and it appears that your mother is telling you that Brendan is the planner, correct?
Yeah, that's what she said.
Okay. And was that the first time that you said that?
Judge, I'm going to object. This message is from...
I can't unring that bell. It's a delayed objection. Thank you.
Is that the first time that you said it, that Brendan, in time, on October 26, 2024. Is that the first time that you said what your mother's written here?
The first time I said what?
What your mother has written in this message?
Well, that's the only one I see here. I don't remember if she had said it before. I can recall.
I'm not asking about whether she said it. I'm asking about whether you said it.
But I'm confused because this is a message from my mom to me,
Yeah.
not from me to her. So I don't know what I said before this.
Well, it appears she's telling you to tell Tess or them that Brendan planned the whole thing.
Well, that's what she said, yes.
Okay. And what I'm asking is, was that the day when you told the police that Brendan planned the whole thing?
I had mentioned to my mom before about the plea. I had mentioned to her that I was thinking about taking the plea. And I had the reasons I was scared of why I didn't take the plea. And this message, that's when I told her that I had signed the plea, and that's what she responded to me. But she was aware before that I was thinking about taking the plea.
So you had signed the plea on the 26th of October?
Now I don't remember the date.
Do you remember the plea as being October 29th? 3 days later?
Yeah, the picture said yes.
So when was it that you made the agreement to the plea that you signed and was executed on October 29th?
I don't remember the day exactly I signed it. I don't know where we're going with
Do you
this.
need to see the plea form?
Yeah, that'll fix it.
Do you need to see it?
Yeah, you can show me.
Okay.
And at that moment, you can see her face. Yeah, I think she knows that this bar is messed her up. I think she knows.
Can you see the plea form on the screen, ma'am?
I can.
Just let me know if you need me to scroll up for you when you finished looking at it.
I see it.
Do you need me to scroll up so you can know when you signed it?
Yeah.
Fast forward a little bit so that we can.
Is that what it says? I just...
It says 28th of October, yes.
And so my question was with regard to the previous message, that was where your mother said to you, tell everyone that Brendan planned this. And within 2 days, you've signed a plea with supporting evidence saying that Brendan planned this. Understand? So my question was, when did you say Brendan planned this to the police for the first time?
Well, during the first interview we had,
And do you know when that was?
I remember it was a Friday.
Okay. Was it in October?
It was in October.
Okay. So October 25th, does that sound right?
Sounds about right.
Was that where you were in a room with another prosecutor, not these two, was asking you questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And that's literally those are the two parts that I wanted to show. And also, not only that I want to see, going back to what I was saying before, because this is what, in those closing arguments, right, that was being made, especially the rebuttal argument. The defense, in my opinion, before I go into rebuttal, the defense, in my opinion, had a much better closing, because this was the prosecution's case, in my opinion, to lose after Brendan's testimony. They just had so much working for them. And I felt for some reason they didn't attack that much. Like Jennifer Sands did not really go after this as vigorously as she did with all the other evidence. On top of that, I don't know why you're bringing up the screen thing again. Why are you bringing this up when that is your evidence? All you have is Julianna testifying that they were using Telegram. How do you even show that Julianna was behind the Telegram away from her words? So why are you bringing up the screen thing over and over again when there is no corroborative evidence that you even have, you yourself have, to at least prove that Brendan was literally there controlling the Telegram account? That's the reason why the defense brought this in, because it's just doubt. And the thing that is working for the defense in all of this to make everything for them work is that they literally do not have to prove any of this at all. My time to 4 minutes left. They don't have to prove any of this at all. So if they're going up there to remind everybody, hey, listen, she was offered this. She was offered, our mother told her to say that Brendan planned all this. That's a point to minimize, which they haven't even touched at all. They haven't even tried to justify what may have happened. They haven't even tried to show any kind of evidence to show that, because if Brendan was not orchestrating this and she was being told, okay, tell them this, and the plea deal was 2 days afterwards, that's a lot of doubt, because end of the day, they are the ones that recommended her time served. So when the defense goes up there, if they, this is based on the idea that closing arguments have merit. Personally, I don't value them, but this is based on the idea that it has some kind of impact. If that's what you're hearing, where the defense is saying that that the entire Julianna's entire story has been bought and paid for. Great argument, by the way. Bought and paid for. First, freedom, and secondly, the money on the side. I have no idea why on earth the prosecution would just go up there on the rebuttal and say, listen, Julianna pleaded for, it doesn't make sense that Julianna would, if Brendan was not guilty, which I get the argument, if Brendan was not guilty, why would Julianna plead? Why not just join Brendan and get the not guilty verdict and they are through? You just have to think, you offered her time served. That's why she wouldn't take the risk. It's a risk, you see. Like, I understand that it's predicated on the idea that, yes, they're guilty, I get it. But if you're going to make this argument, at least consider that part and take the time served out of the plea that you give her. Not just that. The second part of this is that they got the figures wrong. It's not 10K. It was 25K that she was offered. 100K, sorry, that she was offered. So when you're minimizing the figures, it just kind of sends the idea that maybe you guys knew that you needed her to do, maybe you're just helping the defense a bit more with this, because they don't have to prove that they just have to show doubt. And it's very doubtful for them to highlight that. They didn't even, like I said, the lack of semen was one. The one thing, right, they also have the zoo rules. This is something that they could have referenced and say that the fact that Brendan was even mentioning that there was a zoo, when Julianna said that was actually a ruse, you can see how you can bolster Julianna's testimony a lot more with that. But even with that aside, I felt that the moment that they didn't even bring up, they didn't even show why on earth why Julianna would have done this. If you're giving her time served, you need to show why she would have done this to even deserve time served. They had in their locker, right? In their locker, the idea that Julianna had visa issues. She was open to coercion. Is mic on? She was open to coercion. She had border control issues, something that the state had basically made sure that she testified, etc. They could have flipped this and say, listen, Brendan knew this. Brendan promised her a whole new life. I'll take care of your fetus issues. I have status as the federal agent. On top of that, go from the state federal agent and says, listen, we can get this all done. I'll start a new life with you. Drive the theory home. The data supports it. She broke up with him on Discord. You have that data. Breaks up with him on Discord. Then moves on from the Discord. They patch things up again, as Brendan testified to after Julianna's death. Flip it. How do you trust him? For all you know, it was all him. That's what I was expecting. They have the information there. So, naturally, then just show the letters where Julianna was let down. Where the promise was, you will get this, and the minute that she had a crisis of conscience, that's when she decided to come to us and tell us everything, because she realized she was a full 22-year-old woman. You have the case right there. That's why we didn't give her time served, because you just have to, that idea, that thought is just so dangerous for a state that has to meet such a high burden. We didn't give her time served because we just felt like she deserves it and was just confessing. No, we really felt like this guy had preyed on her visa issues, and therefore we had to get her testimony in. We didn't offer her time served until after she told us everything. She didn't know she was going to get time served. She didn't know anything. It's just what we offered her after the testimony. Would have been nice if we get that into the record before the closing argument, but I'm just saying, it's just working with what you have on your feet. I thought they dropped the ball completely, but I'm way over the minutes. There's 2 minutes. But like, you know these facts. If the jury acquits or hangs, you know exactly why that's the case. This is why I like covering trials like this, because end of the day, these are the people, like, they're the ones that gets to orchestrate this justice to the finishing line. They need to do it properly if they want to actually bring justice to Christine, literally. Anyway, let me just move on. After watching, so let's go back to that opening clip that I used. After watching all of this trial, all of this, right? To me, anyway, it seems like the only person that's been doing all this is literally Brendan. I cannot etch that thought out of my head. There were, like, I just think it was a bad case, but honestly speaking, just the pure fact that Joe Ryan is there, and there were even communications bringing him there, that's enough for me personally. But if I'm thinking about it critically, there is no way I can meet that standard as a juror. If I was there's no way I can meet it. So that perception really showed me who was really the manipulative ones before all of this actually happened. And it seems to me that Brendan, I keep confusing too. Brendan was the one to have to have been putting the strings behind the scene, making all these rules up, making it seem like some way, and then boom, when it all matters, he comes back out and acts like the innocent person. Anyway, that's all I have time for. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and hopefully you have enjoyed the Catch Your Call recap show. You may or may not have known this. I think I said this on one of the clips. Once the verdict is out, the daily recaps shall be available for members only, and that's basically it after 30 days. And yeah, that's basically all I have time for. We shall be covering the Corey Richards trial next. So if that's a trial that you are following, also consider following it with us. Anyway, have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Bye for now. Thank you everyone for tuning in for another Catch Up Call live stream. Make sure that you smash that like button as well as hitting that subscribe button to be notified of our future live streams. We go live regularly, bringing you case updates and recaps of ongoing trials. So make sure you hurry back on the next live stream. We also have more content on the channel that you can binge on. Check out the playlist that we have showcasing all of these contents. Without further, I go by the name of Heinz, your friendly neighborhood catch-up.